sense we were under threat. The eerie feeling of someone watching my every move had become part of my daily life. It never left me and occupied my thoughts day and night. It was an unnerving sensation, but Nathan was convinced it was all in my mind. As far as he was concerned, there was nothing to worry about. I was just imagining it. He was probably right. Since Luca's birth, I'd been on edge. My emotions were out of control. Nathan was sure the change in my behaviour was because I was adjusting to life with a new baby. But I thought there was more to it than the case of the baby blues. Although that would account for some of my symptoms, it didn't explain why I'd developed a fear of being watched all the time. I didn't know if it was an irrational fear brought on by anxiety or if my sixth sense was right. Either way, something was amiss. I didn't imagine the incident just now outside our apartment, no matter what Nathan said. As it played on my mind, I knew I'd have trouble sleeping, and if I managed to drift off, I'd dream I was reliving the nightmare. No wonder I'd found myself travelling down this dark path. Our lives would never be the same again. When you lived through a traumatic experience, it did strange things to a person. You couldn't expect everything to return to normal in an instant, could you? The memory of Alfie setting the yacht ablaze to destroy any evidence it contained, even though he knew Nathan and I were still on board, haunted me. He had been willing to burn us alive to stop himself being linked to his crimes. I couldn't get my head around that fact. I had been pushed to the edge and felt like I was unravelling. My sanity was fraying at the seams. I didn't like feeling weak and out of control. I'd always been the strong one in our relationship, but these days I had to lean more and more on my husband for emotional support. That was something that didn't sit comfortably with me. I valued my independence too much. I was 17 when I met Nathan on the beach at Southend. We were childhood sweethearts. People said we were too young to marry, but nothing would keep us apart. He was my soulmate. My world fell to pieces when our marriage hit rock bottom, but since I'd become pregnant, it was back on track, and our relationship was stronger than ever. Being a mother for the first time was hard work. I was struggling without a close network around me. Nathan had been a fantastic help, doing chores and everyday tasks to take some of the strain off me. But that hadn't stopped me feeling overwhelmed at times. Reeling from exhaustion and fluctuating hormones, I'd found myself being sucked into a dark place. A place I was reluctant to visit, in case I couldn't find my way out again. I kept reminding myself that this was all new to me, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself. But I'd always been my own worst critic. Nathan had found it difficult growing up without his father around, and in the past, he'd struggled with commitment issues and insecurities. Because of that, he wanted Luca to grow up with two loving parents and never experience the pain he went through. Chapter 2. Nathan. The day Gemma showed me the little pink line on the pregnancy test, it brought a tear to my eye. It was a fantastic feeling knowing my wife was expecting our first child, but I also couldn't help feeling a little sad. I wanted to share the news with my family, but I'd been estranged from my mum since I'd found out she'd lied to me about my dad. She'd let me grow up thinking Dad had abandoned me. I never understood why he'd do that to me, and it filled me with insecurity. Mum had paid the ultimate price for keeping her secret from me. It had damaged our relationship, and I wasn't sure we'd ever recover from it. We hadn't spoken in over a year. I'd thought about picking up the phone and putting an end to our argument on several occasions, but I wasn't sure I was ready to forgive her yet. Because of what she'd done, I was 33 years old, and I'd never met my father. She'd cut him out of our lives when I was a baby, so I'd been denied a relationship with him. That had a powerful effect on me. My upbringing had undoubtedly left its mark on me. I'd battled demons all my life. Since Gemma first told me she was pregnant, I'd had a sudden urge to find my father. I was curious to find out about the man I never knew. I wanted to contact him and hear his side of the story. I hoped it wasn't too late for us to start building bridges. I'd spent an unsuccessful year trying to locate